England take on the Netherlands tonight in the Women's Euros. It's live on talkSPORT. talkSPORT's got the lot for you, not only in the field of rugby, but also in the women's football. And this is a very important match. They all are. But this has become super important for the Lionesses because it's played one, lost one thus far. They lost to the French in their opening game, and now they've got to try and improve on that. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk is over there in Switzerland for us as talkSPORT's England Euros reporter. Courtney, good morning. What kind of feeling are you getting from within the Lionesses camp this time around that they're ready for this and ready to turn things around?
Yeah, good morning both, and you're right. I think there is that sense that they want to turn things around. I think Georgia Stanway in the press conference earlier on in the week sort of said it perfectly, summed it up in terms of, I don't want to talk, I'm finished talking, we want to play, we want to get on the pitch, we want to right the wrongs. And I think it's been a similar message, whether it's been Hannah Hampton or Alessia Russo that I've spoken to. I think they're very clear on what went wrong. They were very honest with themselves that they didn't stick to their game plan, they didn't execute it the way that they would have wanted to against France. I think they're now clear on what they need to do against the Netherlands and raring to go to right the wrongs. I think that's the best thing as a player in a major tournament format. Normally, obviously, in a league format, you've probably got to wait a week to play, whereas the games come thick and fast. So, yeah, the girls are ready and raring to go is the way that I've sensed it.
Courtney, are we expecting any changes in either personnel or tactics? What are you thinking?
I mean, I would like to see a few changes personally, but I think history tells us that Sarina Weigman doesn't change it too much. I think there's been a lot of talk around Jess Carter in that position, that left-back role. She was exposed quite badly, but my argument to that was that also came from higher up in the midfield. I think for me, the midfield looked a little bit tired, so I'd love to see someone like a Grace Clinton in there. I think she's got bags of energy. She's a bit of a feisty player. She's got some bite that we're going to need today because that sort of Netherlands midfield is also very much like that. So I'd love to see Grace Clinton in. And yeah, I don't know. I think there should be a few changes for me personally, but if going off, as I mentioned, history and the way Sarina Weigman normally works, I don't think we'll see too many changes, but I could be wrong.
Courtney, what are the wrongs they need to right?
Well, I think sort of the first 20 minutes was fantastic, but after that, sort of the switching mentality and how they let the momentum shift and the game get away from them, that needs to change for sure. And that speaks to, I think, a leadership on the pitch where we've got a lot of leadership, we've got a lot of experience on that pitch, but for me, it was a bit quiet. Some of them looked a little bit lost. And in terms of obviously, technical and tactical in terms of the gameplay, short, sloppy passes. After that first 20 minutes, sort of, we kept getting caught out in midfield in particular in terms of, obviously, I mentioned Jess Carter, but, as a whole team game, looking round and thinking, right, I need to help my teammate out. So whether that's the winger coming back and doubling up and helping in a 2v2, or whether the midfield shifts across or making sure actually that you stop it at source. So, there's a lot that needs to change, and I think the energy was something that I was quite surprised about, and that changed again in the last 10 minutes with the substitutes. But yeah, I think energy, application of the technical aspects, and obviously the application of the game plan, which both Sarina Weigman and the players I've spoke to have all said it wasn't there in the way it should have been. Was
it fair, the criticism around the substitutions, them being late and maybe not acting quickly enough to halt the momentum that the French had? I know we've talked about that with Gareth for many tournaments now, but I heard some similar criticism around this situation as well.
Yeah, I would personally say so. Every manager's got their different ways of working, but for me, we're 2-0 down at half-time. The momentum's got away from us. I think the players on the pitch, as I mentioned, I think there was a lot of experience on the pitch that didn't do things to stop that momentum shift. So, yeah, the three that came on, I think it was Niamh Charles, Ella Toone and Chloe Kelly, that triple sub, I think that could have been made a lot earlier, personally. And the same when you see Michelle Agyemang come on. She was fantastic. I think she had more shots than or touches in the opposition box than any England player all night. She was only on the pitch for about 6 minutes. So again, if you're looking at that thinking, right, if you brought her on with 10-15 minutes to go, what impact could she have made? So yeah, I personally would have made those substitutes earlier, but I'm not the England manager.
Not yet.
Courtney, interestingly, what are they about to come up against in the Dutch?
A very good team, I think, in terms of their fullback specifically. Bags of pace. Kirsten Kasperai, that people that watch the WSL know, plays for Man City, and Esme Brooks as well. young player, plays for Barcelona, but she is such a prospect. She is a world-class talent, in my opinion. So, yeah, they've got lots of pace, loves to get the fullbacks forward. We know everything about Vivian Miedema again. You know, she's a fantastic player, the way that she can make something out of nothing. And then the midfield, for me, the likes of Jill Roord, are very, very combative. Daniela van der Donk, I've played against her in the past, and she is horrible to play against. She's biting at the ankle. She's always there. So, yeah, there's a mix of, I think they like to possess the ball a little bit more than France, and I think in forward areas they've not got necessarily the pace that France have got, but in the wide areas, and as I say, the fullbacks love to get forward, they've definitely got that sort of pace. So obviously you've seen against France that causes a problem. I'm sure the Dutch will have looked at that and think that's an area they can exploit too.
Courtney, very briefly, and we'll finish on this. You concerned going into this?
I am, yeah. I must admit, I am a little bit. I think coming into the game, yes, I think mathematically a draw will do us, but I think that leaves it a bit tough up until the last day. Obviously, as you'd prefer the win, but I'm coming into this game, and as I'm saying, the changes, some of the sort of stuff that I've seen in training, specifically after the match day, it was a bit sluggish, and for me, those are the players that you're trying to play your way into your team. They've just lost, and yeah, there's just a few moments around the camp at the minute that I'm just, as I say, slightly worried, especially the France game. Look, I appreciate that, you know, it might be a one-off. It might well be, but I think that middle part, in terms of the level of performance that we didn't show, I think that's slightly worrying. So, yeah, hopefully I'm wrong and I can go with my heart and say it's going to be a big England win tonight. But I think it's going to be really tough. And the Netherlands are maybe a team that I think people undervalue. It's going to be a real tough game tonight.
Courtney, thanks very much indeed. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, talkSPORT's England Euros reporter. Simon, here's the thing. Say they lose tonight, the Lionesses, and it goes on to become an early group stage exit. You have to ask the question, as the chief exec of the FA, Mark Bullingham, left himself any room for manoeuvre? Because before the tournament, he says, we're delighted Sarina is in place until 2027, Sarina Weigman. I don't see any scenario changing that. We're locked in for this tournament and the next, and that feels very good.
Well, I mean, she's had two good tournaments, hasn't she? So,
very good. So
you've got to give her some currency. And this tournament, I mean, their form going into this tournament was patchy. I mean, I thought Courtney was very frank there. I mean, a lot of time you can listen to reporters that are inside camps that don't speak quite as frankly as she did, so well done to her. Look, they've got to get a result this evening, but perhaps they see more in Sarina Weigman than necessarily just one tournament. They've seen the two previous tournaments. I mean, you are allowed not always to be successful, but to go out in a group stage and to go out, if they were to lose to the Netherlands today, will be a seismic shock to them, because irrespective of when I was saying to Courtney a week ago, well, they're not going in with great. I mean, they beat the Jamaicans 7-0, right? But that they were cannon fodder. Prior to that, they'd had a mixed bag of results against the Belgians and so on and so forth. Yeah. This Dutch team that they're playing have just recently, before the tournament, got beaten 4-0 by Germany. So they're no great shakes. So there's the game's afoot, and they'll take care of the Welsh. So in all sense and purposes, I still think England will have a good chance of getting through.
Okay, let's see. They've got to turn it on tonight. England against the Netherlands tonight in the Women's Euros. It's live on talkSPORT.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.